Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's time for the retro power from a Neo. It's the Pro Edition with a 1TB storage capacity. You know, I didn't get very quickly into these Windows based handhelds simply because the price range is absolutely next level shizzle. As making this video, this thing doesn't come even with the latest AMD Ryzen chipset. It's the AMD Ryzen 7 4800U with the 1TB capacity, also called the retro power. Is this absolutely retro power for emulation, or is this something you should avoid? Nevertheless, a quick overview of the specification list. It does come with a beautiful 7-inch IPS display, a built-in ultra-fast NVMe SSD, and also 16GB LPDDR4 memory modules. Nevertheless, a very nice specification list, if I may say myself. The presentation is absolutely premium, because you do pay a premium price for this. But also going to talk about all of the features and what are we going to get actually with this handheld. So let's go, let's unleash the beast. But hey guys, it's still awesome that you tuned in. So let's get this beast out of the box and let's do a quick unboxing. But I do notice with Neo that we're going to get a lot of cool goodies, including a great manual that explains everything, how you need to set it up and stuff like that. Underneath, we're going to get ourselves every single product that we're going to need, including a charger, of course, cables, and let's say the Type-C to USB converters. If you want to use external, let's say, piece of equipment, think about a mouse or a keyboard. The first thing I just wanted to check out is how actually this thing will feel and how it looks. The look, I really love it. The way how this retro feeling vibe going on, I love it, just gonna be honest. But the thing that really concerns me to begin with, it's just okay, it's not this very super ergonomic model. At the bottom we do get in stereo speakers that sound amazing and a Type-C. At the top we're going to get Type-C, and then we're having volume control and an audio jack out and the on and off switch. So when it comes to the triggers, I must say that they feel quite nice, but also long traveled. At the right we're going to get some extra key features and a very tiny joystick. We do have similar buttons like the Nintendo Switch when it comes to the size, but they play actually quite good. I was quite surprised by it. But again, also at the left side, we're going to get ourselves the D-pad for, let's say, shortcut buttons. And basically we're going to having select and start. And of course, other buttons for different configurations or different, let's say, options in the games or in the Windows itself. The D-pad feels absolutely amazing and it plays great with finding games. It's time to unwrap and let's take a close look at the system itself, what we're actually going to get. So when it comes to the device itself, I must say the boot up sequence, it works perfectly like every single laptop. I do have a little bit of a moment where I need to be setting it up, but when setting everything up, this thing boots up very quickly and I was quite surprised by it. After installing the software itself, I was quite surprised to see how many options we're having, including the special program or the special quick menu where you can set up how much, let's say, what it needs to drain from battery. Better said, you can mess around with the performance. That's quite interesting, especially if you're going to need a lot of power for some certain kind of games. It also can be used as a front end, and basically with the front end you can just say, hey, we're going to add some new games and can play them from this point. Very convenient. But also in the software we can basically read out what kind of specifications we're getting. This thing comes with built-in Windows 10 64-bit. The CPU is an AMD Ryzen 7 4800U with a Radeon graphics. The Radeon graphics comes with 3GB. Then having the monitor is in 1280 by 800 resolution. Another thing I wanted to try out is the internal fan, and when cranking up, let's say, the fan itself or automatically does it when playing a game, it sounds noticeable, but not very loud. But audio-wise, it sounds absolutely amazing. But let's get into the Street Fighter 4, one of my favorite games, an auto fighter game, but how does it play on original resolution and everything set to high? Alright, so let's start with Street Fighter 4, one of my favorite games still to play. I must say that this is absolutely an older game, but I just wanted to check it out. I already shown you the specification list, and this thing runs on very high, let's say, specifications.
Fighting with conviction leads to victory. Are you ready? Fight! I'll crush you.
For Crash Bandicoot, let's take a close look how good of the performance we're getting with this chipset in combination with every setting set to high. And we did like shut down the bloom because I personally don't really like it, but that's it. Let's take a close look at it, how this will run with some Crash Bandicoot. Alright, so let's see what we're going to get when it comes to specifications like this. I just want to see how far we can push it. You can see the frame rate is going to be around the 50, not the 60, unfortunate. So we need to like go back into the settings to set some things to medium if you want to get the full 60 FPS. By getting into Street Fighter 5, here we just need to like mess around with the settings. For example, we need to set everything to medium to get at least like a good 60 FPS performance in my opinion, or a good performance when it comes to playing the game on a handheld like this. But again, don't get me wrong, if you're going to put this thing to medium settings, it still looks absolutely amazing. But again, like there are some things that you just need to like take consideration when you're getting like a little bit older handheld when it comes to some Neo Pro. Another thing I wanted to do is just to see how it will actually play with the D-pad. I already tried Street Fighter 4. With the D-pad feels kind of weird. When actually playing some fighting games, it's super responsive. Every move comes out instantly without any problems whatsoever. Alright, so for Tekken 7 I just wanted to see how far we can push this bad boy. Just going to put in custom configuration with everything set to high with the original 1280 by 800 resolution. So let's actually see how that runs on this. Alright, so let's see what we're going to get when it comes to gameplay itself. Also very curious how it will be with the loading times, because there we do have like some problems with some low-end systems. You can see the FPS goes all the way down now, but let's see how it will get into the gameplay itself, because there we do see some differences with some of the handhelds nowadays. So Tekken 7 absolutely like overkill for this device, way too demanding. You can see like it goes all the way up to 30. So if you just want to play some Tekken, unfortunate, we need to lower the settings. But take consideration if you just want to play some old school indie games or some basic racing games, this device runs it just perfectly without any problem. Everything's set to high resolution. We can just have like a lot of fun. Also like the audio of this thing is absolutely crazy loud. Oh crap. I really suck at this game. It's so long that I've played this. Oh man, playing it with analog stick is quite difficult, I'm just going to be honest. D-pad is so much better. If we're going to get into Dead or Alive 2, we'll go... Oh, Dead or Alive 2. I'm already in retro mode. With the retro Neo. No, I mean like with Dead or Alive 6, what we're going to get basically is like the same result with Tekken 7. The thing is like you just need to set everything to off. Here you can already set effect set quality low, because this thing is absolutely crazy like demanding. I just want to keep the original, or at least like close to the original, with 1920 by 1080 with the full resolution. But with even on a lot of settings set to off or low, you can just see that it struggles. Is it still playable with 33 like FPS? I think not really. Unfortunate, you can see like this chipset is just not powerful enough to run a game like this. It's not like up to the point when you're looking at the overall performance. I wouldn't say like it's like unplayable or something if you don't see the number. I can still really enjoy it, but again you need to set it to lower resolutions to get just a way better performance. You need to get it up to the 50s, 60s. But let's get into the emulation part. And with the emulation, I can tell you, yeah, we do have like some limitations when it comes to PlayStation Portable. Just want to set it up all the way to 10 times resolution. Maybe it's a little bit overkill, but it doesn't hit the 50 at all. It even slows down like crazy. So the next thing that we're going to need to do is go to the freaking settings and just get into like this setting and just set it to maybe 6 times or 8 times a resolution. So let's get into the settings and let's see where we can basically like swap. Okay, we're not going to enable frame skipping. I don't want to do that. Just to see if we can get it to, let's say, 8 times the resolution. Just slowly take it step by step and just see how far we can push this. Because I want to know what is the best thing that we can get. Let's load the state again. Let's see. Yeah, that's much better. Oh, that is way better. There we go. I am the god of war, the man of the chains of kinkiness. I'm going to whip everybody with naughty, because we all deserve to get spanked. Alright, so next up, some PlayStation 2 portable. Of course, with a lot of, let's say, cheap devices nowadays, we cannot really play it, or you need to do a lot of tweaking, but with such an, I say, expensive but also powerful device, we can play this PlayStation 2 platform or emulation without any problem. But a PlayStation 2, man, I love it. It's such a cool system even nowadays. And play it on the go on the device like this is such a different experience. Depending on what kind of handheld you're buying, with this version I do like the joystick, but I wish it was a little bit bigger. So let's set it to the 3 times the resolution. Let's see how Xbox Classic handheld it is. A very high resolution, or at least I think it's a very high resolution. Surprisingly, the system handles it quite well. Alright, so for next test, let's see if we can play some PlayStation 3 on it and how will it play on an, let's say, an older AMD chipset, because I'm really curious about that. If it doesn't like stop loading like it does sometimes. Alright, so let's get into the PlayStation 3 part. So the thing is, with this chipset, I do get like a very stable 30 FPS frame rate over here. Surprisingly, it does have like great support when it comes to PlayStation 3 emulation. I specifically bought this retro power version because I just really love the retro vibe of this handheld. To be honest, at first I really didn't know what to think about when it comes to the form factor of the handheld, because when it comes to these flat handhelds, they're not like the best comfortable handheld to play on for a very long time. But I can tell you, it wasn't really disappointing. This thing plays quite comfortable. Because don't get me wrong, this thing is very ergonomic, but it comes to the shell itself, it's not like 100% flat. Especially when you're looking at the shoulder buttons, we do see some different kind of shapes. It gives this thing a little bit better grip for playing for a long time. Enough Type-C ports basically to connect everything if needed, like an external drive or a keyboard and mouse. I already mentioned that I really liked the way how this thing looks, but there were particular things I really like, but also I really don't like. We do have like a lot of extra buttons over here. So we have like the starter selects. You need to be very careful which one you're going to press, actually when you're playing a game. But these are like super convenient sometimes. At the right side we do get a lot of extra buttons and I really love it. For example, the Windows button is super convenient if you want to go back to the main screen or just swap between windows. But also if you want to press the TM button, the task manager, it's super easy. If you want to have if you have some problems with a certain game, you can just press it over there and go into the task manager. In this case you can just basically shut down the program if needed. And I think that is a very interesting but also choice for a button. but it is super convenient with Windows. The other thing I didn't really like is the joystick. The thing I like the size, and it's more like a personal thing. The joystick quality is great, but that's just the way how it looks and plays, especially when going to play a lot of games like PlayStation 2. I'm not the biggest fan of it. The most surprising was the D-pad, because this thing plays absolutely amazing when it comes to fighting games. It feels quite weird, to be honest. I needed to get used to it, but playing some Street Fighter, all of my moves come out instantly. Perfect. But is this thing still worth picking up? That is a question you should ask yourself. There are a lot of different, like say, handhelds based on Windows. This older version does have like a chipset that doesn't have like the performance to run every single game if it's Windows based or emulation on, let's say, higher resolution, of course depending what you're playing. Let me know in the comments what do you think of the retro version. Do you like it? Do you hate it? Would you be like trading in your Steam Deck for this? Thanks for watching. Consider subscribing, hit the little bell, and it would be great to see you in the next video. Yeah!